Good morning folks, and welcome to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. You join us today in West Clayton, which is in Yorkshire. I'm on the wrong side of the Pennines today, Hot Potters, and it's a bit of a damp day today, but we're not going to let that dampen our spirit because we've come to Kirklees Light Railway. As you can see, there's the sign there behind me, and we've come today for a little bit of a tie-in video. Now, as some of you will probably recall, way back when I was doing some videos from Haigh Hall in Wigan, my hometown, and this video is going to tie in nicely with that series of videos. I'll put a link up now for the one that I did at the Miniature Railway, and today we've come to have a look at the engine that originally ran on those rails back in 1986 when the railway opened in Wigan. Now, the engine's name was Katie. You'll probably recall that from the video that I did. And that engine has had a very interesting life from the days it was built in 1954 and started life at Dudley Zoo. It's been all over the place, and as I said, it did a stint at Wigan. So what we're doing now, we're on the car park and we're just sort of waiting for this place to open. I've been up since about 6:30 this morning because I've been really looking forward to this visit. So we're just waiting now, Mrs H, Toby and myself, so that we can board the train. Now, one good thing about this railway is you can ride the train all day. You pay for the ticket and it's like a rover ticket and you can go on it all day. So we're going to really get our money's worth. So join me as we take a look at an old friend from the days of Haigh Hall Miniature Railway. So we're making our way down to the station building now. And we've brought Toby's second pram out. This is his holiday pram. We're firing it in anger, aren't we, Mrs H?
Yeah, we're giving it a go.
That's for holidays in a future video. Now, this track here follows an original British rail line that was axed, I think, in the 80s. And obviously, the tracks was taken up and they've replaced it with 15-inch gauge, which is what this train that we're going to have a look at today is. And it should take us through some of the old original stations. So, we'll just see what we can find. We don't know what we're walking into here, do we, Mrs H, really? But the first ride of the day is the toilet, isn't it?
Always the best one.
And always the best one, yeah, especially when you need it. Big pile of coal there at the end so they can feed it. And the rubbish bins, sponsored by Nestle. Do you think that, Mrs H? Right then, I should imagine it's in this building here, isn't it? Well, we'll see. This is where I get shouted at now. No filming! So we need to beware of trains as we make our way out onto the platforms. Ah, this is it, I think, Mrs H. See that one there? The one on the far left? Yeah, well, black and green. Now apparently, when they got this engine back after it did its service at Haigh Hall, it needed a major refit. Now whether or not that was scheduled anywhere, or whether or not Wigan Council didn't look after it as they should have done, but that little green water tower that you see on that train station, that's why it was there, so they could feed that. They're all diesels now that run at Haigh Hall. Might be an old set for Thomas the Tank Engine, this, isn't it? A really useful engine. Let's have a closer look here. Not sure if we're supposed to go up this path, but we can all be told to get back. There he is, out with the brasso. Making sure it's in tip-top condition for today. As I said, we can ride this as many times as we like, Hot Potters, so you know, we can be here all day if we want. This one here, this red train, that's the sister train to Katie. Don't quite know why they have a little engine on the front though, Mrs H. Unless that's just to get it out, I don't know. I'm not well up on this train enthusiast thing.
Oh, it's right in the front. Carriage.
Wonder if it's like Disney, if you can get a special ticket, you know. And you can on monorail. Just making sure everything's right. And away it goes slowly. Nope, false start. Guard's not happy about something. And off it goes. First train of the day, Mrs. H. And off it goes there in the distance. Well, that's the first train of the day off, Mrs. H.
Yep.
We're just waiting for the star of the show now, Katie, which is still sat in those sheds. There we go, they've just been filling Katie up with water, getting her ready. It's a closer look at it. Those of you who rode the miniature railway at Haigh Hall on its opening day, this is the train that would have pulled you. Now, Kirklees Light Railway, they've acquired this engine 2015, I believe, and before that she was at a farm up in Busker, Windmill Farm I believe it's called, and there's all sorts of engines there, and they painstakingly, you know, restored her. She had a new boiler fitted, and lots of the original detail of when she was originally built in 1954, they was put back on her. I'll put a photograph in now of when it was at Wigan, and you'll be able to see from that photo how a lot of the details missing, you know, on the tender and things like that. So I'll put that photograph in now and you can take a look. As you can see, it was just a generic green. They didn't really do much. I think they renamed the engine Haigh Hall. I'm not sure about that though. Maybe somebody can, you know, tell me in the comments below. Now, after Dudley Zoo, after it had done service at Dudley Zoo, it moved over to Furbourn Railway over in Wales, and it ran there from 1965 all the way through to 1985. But they changed the name of it for its final season in 1985 to Shan for some reason. And the reason as it left Furbourn was because they changed the tracks. These are 15-inch gauge tracks, as you can see there. And they took all their tracks up and they changed it to 12 1/4, I believe. So that was the reason they had to get rid of the engine. And Wigan got a bargain. And whether or not they owned it outright, or whether they just hired it, we don't know. Right then, I'm going to leave these gentlemen to it, and I'm going to make my way back down the platform and wait till it hooks up to these carriages that are waiting in the station there. And off she goes. Must be amazing to play with these all day long. Whether or not they're volunteers or they get paid, I don't know, but it's certainly, you know, a labour of love looking after these trains. This is the guard van, this is where the guard will be for our journey. All the gadgets and gizmos there so we can stay in contact with the engine driver down at the bottom there. Not really a lot of space in there, is there, when you come to think? And these are the carriages. There's no first or second class, they're all the same. I'll try and get in one where there's no panes in the door, you know, no glass. That way we may be able to stick the camera out the window and get a few shots as we go down here. I think one of the stations we will pass through is the former Skelmanthorpe railway station, and that was used, Skelmanthorpe, in the series Oh No, It's Selwyn Froggatt, when it was a British rail station. So they're just hooking her up, ready to go. I'm trying to keep out the way, I don't want to get under the feet. But we can really see the detail of this engine now. It never looked this good under Gill Swift, I'll say that. They've done a fantastic job with it since it left Wigan.
Yeah.
Get a look at the maker's plate there. Look by Trevor Guest, engineering. And there's all the gubbins for driving it. Well, we're now sat in the carriage waiting, aren't we, Mrs H?
Yeah.
Little Toby's busy playing with my phone. Typically you bring him to something and they're more interested in something like that, aren't they? Yeah. So we're just waiting for the train to pull out. It's filling up nicely. Okay. Emergency card here, Mrs H. I wonder what kind of farm I gave I pulled that.
200 quid.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Nah, well, I'll not be pulling that then.
No.
We've had our tickets checked, haven't we?
We have.
So we're ready to go. As you can see though, there's people coming in at the back. So, all exciting and ready to go, aren't we?
Yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Kirklees Light Railway. This is the 11 o'clock service to Shelley. In the interest of safety, we ask that you remain seated throughout the journey. Do not lean out any of the open windows. And please do not allow children to play with the door handles. It will take us about 25 minutes to reach our destination today. So just sit back and enjoy the journey. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we've now arrived at Shelley Station, which is where this train runs to. It takes in 2 stations along the line. It takes in Cuckoo's Nest, Skelmanthorpe, which as I said was originally a British Rail station, and then it stops here at Shelley, where there's another tea room, and it's not as big as it is down there at where we started off from, but you can have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever, and wait for another train, or you can wait 15 minutes while they turn the train round on this turntable here, and then you can get back on board and head back down to where you've come from. As I say, you can ride this all day, which I think the tickets were £6.50 for an adult, and then, you know, it's free for children under 3 years of age, so it's fantastic. It's a good day out. Now what I'm going to do, because it's quiet on here now and there's nobody milling about as such, I'll get the camera out and we'll take a closer look at this turntable, and then we'll see it in action turning Katie round. So here's the turntable. Obviously you turn it round by hand using those handles there. I'm not going to mess around with it because obviously, you know, there's people on here and they won't be too pleased if I start turning things around as an amateur. But you'd walk along here with the train on there and then lock it into position on one of these here. Little buffers there for stop the train from crashing into the wall. Turn it round and send it off down one of those lines there. Obviously, it's just a miniature version of what they used to have in the old days of steam. So what we'll do now is we'll take a look at this turntable being used. We'll see Katie being turned round. And it's as simple as that, easy when you know how, isn't it? Obviously that gentleman has done that quite a few times. I think the fellas sat in the engine have the best job, really. A lot better than the fella, the guard, who has to keep getting out and turning it round and that. We'll make our way down this platform here now and we'll take a look at the water tower, because again we can get a closer look at it while there's nobody around. Well, like I said, it's a good day out this for anybody who's interested in trains. It's good to see these little things. I mean, Wigan's Miniature Railway up in Haigh Hall, it's just a circular track really, and there's only 2 stations on it. And I think it was a lot better in the day. I mean, now it's got diesel engines running on it over at Wigan, as I've stated, and I think really they've lost something in not having an actual steam train running on it. But it's all down to cost, isn't it? It's all down to cost. I'm not going to run down the fella from Appley Bridge who brought, you know, the Haigh Hall Miniature Railway back to life. He's done a good job in doing that, but you come to something like this and you just see what's missing at Wigan and what they've lost, sadly. So, I'm now here at the water tower. I'll whip the camera around again and we'll take a closer look at how this water tower works. And there we go. That's exactly the sort of thing that we saw at the beginning of our journey. And how it would work is you would pull that Hessian piece of hosing over towards the tender where the water goes in, and you turn that valve there, and obviously it'll swing round so that you can get into position. Like I said, I'm not going to fiddle with it because that's not the dumb thing. Now whether or not this little box here, you know, that's on top of that brick pillar, whether or not that is the actual place where the water's stored or not, I don't know. It sounds like something's coming down that line, but I don't know. Yes, here we go. It looks like she's back. Here she is, coming into the station. This train that's pulling in, you know, this is Sean. This is a sister train at the back. Why there's two locos running on this one, I don't know. And there we go, pulls into the station. It's a good job I got off them tracks then, isn't it? As I said, folks, it's a good job I got off the track then, isn't it, with that coming down. Right then, I'm going to make my way back into the tea room where Mrs H is currently feeding little Toby. I'm going to finish off my hot chocolate, and then with a bit of luck we'll be able to get back on the train and make our way back down to the main station though. And we're going to ride this a couple of times because we may as well do. We've paid for it, haven't we, so why not? Right then, I'm going to make my way back to the tea room. Just notice the letter K that's been ground into each and every one of these paving slabs all the way along the platform's edge. Now I should imagine that the K stands for Kirklees Railway, and it looks like they've not been done professionally as such. Somebody's just come along with an angle grinder or a still saw, or if you want to use the slang term, a whizzer, and they've just put them in there. I'm wondering if they've had problems here with the paving slabs being stolen. One of those things that makes you wonder. There's none on that edge, so why? But on this particular edge, I don't know. It's not like passengers are going to slip one of them in the pockets and take it home with them, is it? But you never know. Maybe that's the reason that they all have K's in them. Well, as you can see there, the lights are on and the carriage is there. So that means that we're going into the tunnel. And here we are. I don't know if you can just make out there at the side, but it's quite wide in this tunnel. So what that means is, back in the day it would have been a double track when it was British Rail. Very noisy in here. Very noisy. Little Toby's looking at me wide-eyed there. Oh, I know. You're alright, lad. You're alright, nothing to worry about. I can make out here some little areas where railwaymen would have been able to stand back in the day. And the idea of that was to allow trains to pass. It was like an escape hole so people could get in them. Unfortunately, because it's dark, you can't see it. Quite a long tunnel this, isn't it, Mrs H?
It is.
I mean, you've got to bear in mind that this train can't move as fast as its larger counterpart. You know, if it was on a full-size train, we'd have shot through here by now. But it does give you a good chance to take a look, you know, at some of the detail, what bit you can make out. Looks like we can see daylight at the side of the carriages here, so we're making our way out soon, and then these lights will go out. That's one of those bubbles. Unfortunately, you can't see it. And that should tell us that we're out of it now. It'll be long before those lights will go out. There you go. Right then, I think the next stop will be Skelmanthorpe. Now, Skelmanthorpe and I think is it Cuckoo's Nest, Mrs H?
Yeah.
Those stations, if you want to stop at them, you can, but you've got to request beforehand. So we may end up just flying through them. But it's quite handy. I mean, you can use this actually, as if you live in the area. You could use it as a train, I suppose. You know, just as you would use public transport, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Bit dear at £6.50, but
No, there's an annual pass.
well, it's an annual pass. It gets even better on Potters. We may end up having to come back here for Toby, because Toby's brought me here, hasn't he, Mrs H?
Oh yeah.
This was my Father's Day gift, you know, and what we tend to do in our family, we don't go on like Father's Day and things like that because it's just too busy. It's too busy, so we pick our own things, don't we, Mrs H?
Yeah.
And I chose this. So I may have to bring him for his birthday or something like that with his Thomas the Tank engine. See if they bring Toby out.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're approaching Skelmanthorpe station. We'll be making a stop here to allow the other train to pass. So the train's not at the station yet, it may be 2 or 3 minutes, if you bear with me. Please remain seated though and keep the doors closed. Thank you.
So as you've just heard there, we'll be allowing the other train that's running on this line to pass. Obviously it's not double track all the way down. This bit here, I don't think you can make out, unfortunately on this side the windows don't drop. But this bit here where this track is, this is where the original platform would have been. And back in the day, this would have been Scardale train station in, oh no, it's Selwyn Froggatt. And you can actually see, I'll put a photograph in of Bill Maynard striding out when he was doing some work supposedly in this area. But yeah, this originally was Skelmanthorpe Station. Unfortunately, it looks nothing like it did back in the day because they built that trading estate there. But that used to be all the way back there, and I think you could see coal heaps back in the day. As there was a colliery just over there, Emily Moore Colliery, I believe. And here comes the train on the other track. This is to allow these two trains to pass. Once again, the sister engine to this one is passing. That'll now stop, and it should allow us to pass by. The only way to do it on a single track, really. It's all clever stuff, this, Mrs H, running one of these.
It is.
It's not like having your own railway where it's just going round and round in a circle. And off it goes. And now we're off again on our journey. Making our way under the road bridge here. This road bridge runs straight through Skelmanthorpe. And that's how it's done at Potters. As you can see there, just disappearing in the trees. That was the base of Emily Moore transmitter. Normally you'd be able to see that towering right above the hillside. But today it's rather misty, so you can only see the base. Right then folks, well that brings us to the end of today's video. We've enjoyed our little journey here, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
Katie's turned round and she's reloading with passengers and she'll be taking off in a little while, and that's what we're going to do now. We're going to head back to Lancashire out with Mrs H.
We are.
So folks, until the next time, from myself, from Mrs H and from little Toby, it is bye bye for now.
You have been a really useful engine.